we are good. Okay, so before I get into like the actual VODing part, because I got a couple ideas we're gonna try, but what is there anything specific that you're trying to work on right now? Like what specifically are you looking for?
I know my timings are ass, and I know that my off angling could be better.
Okay, gotcha. And then the other thing I'll ask you is we'll kind of just look at their comp specifically, and then look at your comp, and then kind of just picture what general things you should be doing,
Hmm.
just that it's like your understanding is there, and then kind of go from there. So against their comp, like there specifically, as Cass, like what value, like what is your optimal value, like what's your optimal path to value?
Uh, s- oh, I was thinking doing damage from a distance. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like not like just there's so many people getting flustered. No, Tinder is also a big one for the movement people. Um, just not getting run on. I'm the main target for their comp, I think.
Okay,
So
awesome.
knowing how to play around that.
Sure. So to sum that up a little bit better, I guess, putting pressure on their tank from a distance, shutting down their flankers, and basically, you could also say like baiting aggression from the enemy team.
Yeah.
How do you bait aggression from their team?
Positioning,
Yeah, taking
shooting
aggressive
at them.
off angles, not shooting. No, nobody's gonna like even if you're gonna shoot no matter what. So it's more so if you're putting like heavy pressure on them, they're probably gonna turn on you. And since
Hmm.
you're the target, they're probably gonna want to rush on. Then you can basically take an aggressive angle. How do you now when it comes to comms? We're getting kind of loop that back in. How do you like let your team know that's what you're doing?
Um, I'm playing here. They're gonna run on me. I'm gonna go here after.
Sure. And then telling your carry to like be ready to carry or something like that. But yeah, pretty much. And that could be like you could also say like because that's a fight plan, right? Like you're saying I'm gonna go left side. When they push me, can we go when they push me or something like that? And then you can have your Lucia with you or your carry with you. That way, um, you can like negate the flankers before. Like if the tracer pushes you too early, you can force her out, and then now it's a 4v5 because then they're gonna push you thinking, oh, the cast is by himself, and then your whole team shows up.
Hmm.
So that's like kind of what you want to look for when it comes to like these off angles and like aggressive angles. Now, obviously, it's up to you to like understand when you can and can't do that.
Hmm.
When would you say is like a rough time to do that?
When they all have their ults.
I mean, even then you still could, right? Because you could bait the ults onto you and still
When's a
like,
tough time to do it? Maybe when we're the ones quote unquote attacking, if that makes sense.
maybe depends on the like specific scenario. I would say yes and no. If you guys like, for example, let's say we're pushing through this first point. Well, instead of coming main with us, what could you do?
Um, well, I don't want to go right side. I could go left under to point,
Well, if you go left under the point, how are you gonna
or not
get
left under the point, left under up the
like over here?
stairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, you could start over here and just like be staged on this side, and then that forces somebody to come over to you, which is good. So yeah, when we're attacking, that's perfectly fine. I would say it's more so when we need space. Like for example, let's say we're getting
Okay.
held out here. Well, sure you could come from this way, but your tracer is going to have a lot more success doing that. Whereas if you off angle to start, well then they're just going to turn on you and then you can't really get out. So if they're holding up or like we're trying to push through space, then it's like okay, I'm gonna start with my team, push them out, and then maybe you come out left side here while the team goes main, or we can all rotate. So it just it depends, but situationally, those are like the main cases I would say you probably don't want to take an angle. Other than that, usually you're gonna be on you're gonna want to be on some kind of angle from your tank.
Hmm.
So we'll look at like the main positioning. Okay, so we know they're coming this way. Where
Hmm.
should you immediately be looking to stage?
Um, an off angle.
Okay, but how?
More specifically, how?
Yeah. Like, okay, picture you're making the fight plan here, right? Let's pretend that I'm mute and I can't even talk. So when like how do you tell your team how do we play this fight when they come this way?
Uh,
This is you.
we trample them on when they get through the choke. No.
Okay, so let them out through choke. Okay, but
Mm-hmm.
if we want to let them out through choke, well, how do you need to position?
Uh, mm, not not as close, I think.
Okay, so maybe you're even over here, and just like near this corner or something. That way, you're able to watch this angle as well, and still
Mm-hmm.
able to put like your damage fall off is going to be kind of rough here, which is why we want to let them in. That way, you can still get as much value as you can, but you're still at a safe distance for their shout. Because if their queen tries to shout, it's like what I said before, but you're leashing, right? Like if their JQ is here, if she tries to shout, she's not making it all the way over here in time
Mm-hmm.
to like get maximum value out of her shout. It'll probably end like there.
So I should be playing uh at essentially max distance where we want to take the fight.
Pretty much, yeah, and that's why it's important for that's where it becomes really helpful for you to make these calls where it's like we like play them here, or like let them out here or whatever. Even if you're on the venture, it doesn't really matter who you're playing. But when you're the DPS player that like you want to get the value, then it's like you can see them perfectly fine here. So maybe you're playing back here, just safe, just poking, and then it's like if your tank, good lord, if your tank pushes through here, well now you can't get any value. So then what are
Mm-hmm.
you probably gonna do if the tank walks?
I walk.
Yeah, you walk, and then as soon as they see you, they're gonna rush past the tank.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's like let's play the space that we have, bait them out, make this the kill box, and then you're still safe back here, and then your tracer's marking this angle. What happens here in this fight, I'll just spoil it, your tracer and Lucio push too far onto this angle, which means similar, just like if your tank pushed too far in, if your flankers push too far in, then you like get sucked over, or like their whole team gets sucked over, forces them out, and now you're like left without a bodyguard over here basically. um, but that's where again just how you have to understand what the win condition is, and then play from there. But basically here what happens is, as you'll see, you rotate into the point because you're like trying to see as much as you can versus you're playing the character versus your position, and so now
Yeah.
you're like pushing super far in, and now you're in a really bad spot. And then this fight just like happens, and like it's not even a fight, just like random people getting picked. So that's where, as the hit scan player who has the sight lines, you would be telling your team, let's play it here, let them out of choke,
Mm-hmm.
so that we can do whatever. Because otherwise, somebody else might fight plan. Let's just walk, but we have to play in your sight lines.
Sure. I got you.
Okay, so what are you thinking for this fight? What do you need to do?
I need to. We need to get space in order to walk.
Okay, how do we get space?
Um, maybe. Trace is doing a good job getting the three over there. Looking at him, I'll just honestly just charge in.
Where?
On either onto the queen or maybe to the our right, current like where we're looking at right now, to the right,
Okay, and who's there?
the tracer.
What's one of your main jobs?
Keeping the tracer at bay.
Exactly. What utility do you have that forces her out immediately?
Ender.
Yeah. You throw the nade, you walk, she recalls or like blinks away. You take this space, your tank walks. So this is your timing though, right?
Okay,
Like
I got you.
if your tank is sitting or shooting the queen, and then like you just keep walking this way, and then they like turn over here, it's gonna get rough. So this is where it's like a 3-2-1 push, but it's like everybody needs to understand what the goal is. Because Noel's doing a good job marking, like you said before. But if Noel pushes in right now and the whole team is still here, well, Noel's throwing, because then they're going to get the recall forced, and then now you don't have that angle, so then everybody's looking here. So it needs to happen where the tracer pushes in, you're pushing their tracer out, and then your tank walks main. Now you have all this space. Who do you need to have with you? Or who do you want to have with you?
Kiri or Lucio, probably Lucio.
Maybe just the Kiri, because the Kiri can still heal the Malga, and then the Lucio can get you. Wow, the Lucio can get our Malga in and like stay on the Queen, and then the Kiri can play the angle with you and basically help you with the Tracer as needed. But it's just all about like taking that pressure. So from your like, you don't have to worry about this stuff, but from your comms, it needs to be like, I'll force out Tracer. Can we walk or something like that? Like Kiri, come with me, force out Tracer, we walk, and then all you're doing is just you're literally throwing one hinder, and then you take that space for free. But we'll see what ends up happening. But yeah, versus like running it down, like we're not staged to get on anything here, so we basically need to force out whatever's here. Like this is the primary objective, and then our tracer's just distracting. And then once we force this out, well, now we have all of this space that we can play with, and you can play with where you're safe, and then they're going to be backing, and then you can still poke from this angle. But that's what you need to be looking for, like for your own personal gain, and then you're good. So this works out anyway. I don't even know what you threw the hinder on.
I threw the hinder on a tracer. It was very late reaction on the tracer.
Oh, I see the tracer. Yeah, I think I remember seeing this.
I jumped so.
She also kind of like one clips you. Were you low? Yeah, you do. Yeah, you're already like low health. And I remember this is because again, the angles that we're playing were very like split, partially because so our tracers got forced out most likely, or like rotated back over, and then we're in. So this could be another place where, you need to be calling for your Kiri to help you. And then if you're calling for your Kiri to help you, well, your Kiri would tell your tank, hey, kite back, or like wait or something like that. Or your Kiri's like, go point. That way your tank goes into point, Kiri goes over to you and can still help your tank.
Okay.
But if you don't say anything, well, this tracer basically one clips you because you're already half health. So that's where you calm for heals. Your Lucio goes, plays with your Malga, gets them to point. We stabilize back here, and then you still have like care up here, and then we force the tracer out. And then you can like your tracer can hear that the tracer's coming in because of your comm, and then your tracer marks their tracer. But right now it's just like you're just shooting things, and then the tracer shows up out of nowhere because you were already low. So kind of like what we talked about earlier, or yesterday, but slightly different. The concept of like doing the same thing over and over. Why would it be smart to keep doing the same thing over and over here on this point specifically? As in going this way.
I mean, it just creates better angles. I think it's just like the optimal. It's just the optimal way to go.
Yeah. You have that space, you have the angles. You don't want to go through here because you're going to be
because then they have the space and that too.
Yeah, so that's where, for example, here where your tracer's ready to touch cart, you can still do the same thing, and then your team just needs to understand like, yeah, we're playing point, but you still need to just do your job, and that's force out the tracer. She shows up. The Genji hasn't even gone for you, which is nice. So all you have to worry about is the tracer, which you can basically have your Kiri play near you, and then you're constantly playing in sight lines of your Malga, because your Kiri can still help your Malga too. That way, like, you're still helping. You're not playing like a super ridiculous angle where, let's say you're over here, and then your Malga is like sitting over here, because now your Kiri, if she helps you, can't help the Malga. So maybe you're playing here, and then you're like tethered to your tank, but you're leashing theirs, if that makes sense. But yeah, you don't want to be like super far away, and then your whole team's here, and then Kiri TPs to you, and then the only way that this works is if your whole team pushes, and then now we're like playing in this like line of sight. But that's like for positioning wise, understanding like where you should and shouldn't be, and then your comms are telling your tank where you are, because then your tank knows where not to push. So here it's literally just rotating. Like you just like move very slow. You were just sitting there shooting and looking for things. You just have to move.
Oh boy.
Now, Adventure it's a little different because you kind of like the like closed-in spaces and like the angle, like tight angles, because you can basically just peek around them and be fine.
Hmm.
So we'll slow it down here. So with Venture, I'll look at like how you use your cooldowns and stuff too. But with Venture, the general idea is you don't want to be on like these random angles where your team's pushing this way and you're pushing from like over here. It happened on Li Zhang, where you like went white room, like outside white room, and then like pushed in like a 90-degree angle. You still play relatively with your team on like a very slight angle, where like, let's say your team is,
Like a Reaper.
yeah, basically you're not like TPing in behind or like doing it. It's just like you're playing near the team, and then when the team's ready to engage, you're burrowing and then going in, because maybe you're baiting the team, or maybe you're burrowing in as like a let's go back in or something like that. So here, as the team rotates, so they're coming up here. What could your fight lane be here?
Um, if they continue to chase us, I burrow, and then with the bubble after I come out, burrow.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah, that
go on
works. And even if it's like bring them to the corner, I'll pop out on them at corner or something like that, or like go on them at corner, and then your team knows like okay, I'm gonna go like to this corner, and we're gonna engage them there. That way we don't keep rotating, and then you stay here, and then we're like still backed up all the way over here while you're in alone.
Mhm.
So as soon as you get here, you just burrow. This is fine to force out the tracer.
A little late,
But like
and then I'm
you're
just confused.
doing
I'm
just
just
kind of
chasing.
yeah, you're just like in your burrow looking for somebody versus just like if you go under and then you pop out, like you can sit up here. I'm pretty sure you can sit up here, and then
Yeah.
you're just like shooting down at them and you're like just chilling. And then maybe you go for like a finish with your dash. Um, but yeah, just kind of like lost on the target because they don't have like a cast or bat or somebody that's like super easy to go on. So that's not bad. Just a little slow, yeah.
Mhm. I think Adventure's gonna be slow for a minute for me.
Yeah, I mean it's not the easiest character to play, but once you understand like your cooldown cycle and then your like timing, and you're good. But you just have to get used to not playing her like a tracer and more so just like looking for the rotation, and then you're basically
We
diving
can
on
skip
top of
over
them.
this fight. We can skip over this fight.
But why does this not work?
Well, there's no one there. From
Even
our
then, I
team.
mean, they're there, but why doesn't it work?
From our team, there's no one there.
Yeah, your whole team's sitting here dealing with the tracer. Is like which one is who's in the right, who's in the wrong?
I'm definitely not in the right. Well, okay. Neither of us are in the right. I don't think we should all be turning for the freaking tracer.
That's fair. So then, how do we mitigate that in the future?
Position. I don't know. I really don't know. For me as the venture, um, I don't know what I can really do about that. Maybe start with like closer. I guess just start closer to where everyone is and like shoot a bullet or two her way.
What do I keep? What is like the main thing I keep critiquing you on?
Arms.
Yeah. So how do we stop three people from going back to point?
Saying something.
A fight plan.
See. Oh yeah.
So if you're fight planning, I'm pushing into this thing like bubble me when I go in or whatever. Then you're at least gonna have your Zarya, and then if three people still go back to point, well now it's like something we can look at. But if the whole team understands that we're taking this fight, whose job is it on our team to go contest point?
Lucio.
Yeah. Sometimes maybe the Genji because maybe we need the Lucio to speed out. So it like kind of
Hmm.
depends but that's between those two. Where like Venti might say like Genji go point, Genji go point, or something like that. Where it's like okay, I need to sit here and speed my team in or out or whatever, and then our Genji's like just distracting the tracer, calls for the Curie heals whenever it's needed, if needed, and then like we're fine. But I mean, this tracer gets forced out with one dash, um, and like maybe some right clicks, and like even killed sometimes. So and the Vent and like we know that our Venture's getting the bubble, not the Genji, so Genji probably isn't dashing into their team. So
Hmm.
it's like that's where your fight plan becomes what everybody else goes around and positions around. But if you're not fight planning, like I'm going in on this, and it's like it needs to be communicated. Like even your tank's going back to point. So it's like it has to be something that's like set in stone. But if it's just kind of like, can you bubble me? Well, that's not a fight plan. That's just like you going in and asking for a bubble, which is fine. But if you want resources with you, you need to like tell the team that I'm going in. Give me bubble. Like I'm going in early.
So should I always be, um, I, this seems like a dumb question now I'm thinking about it. Because the answer I think is obvious. Should I always just be fight planning what is in my best interest?
Yeah. If you see something that you want to do, or you know, like this is, for example, if it's comp dependent on them too, where it's like I don't know if you see this comp and you're like, yeah, I want to go early to force cooldowns, or I want to go early to kill so and so, or like Lucio or something because they beat, then you should be kind of calming that. Your Zarya can be like, yeah, but like ideally DPS players are like helping a lot with the fight plan, doing most of the fight planning too. Your tank is usually just your shot caller. They're calling like sometimes tempo. They're like the general like comms of like the flow. Where let's say your Zarya goes, I have no bubbles, let's kite, or I'm full charge, let's go in. Like that's tempo versus like you're calling these engagements because you're staged for it. You're staged for targets. You're like going in first, like with your Zarya and Genji or Lucio or whatever. But I mean, ideally, you should be fight planning as many of these fights as well with your tank. Like it's just a conversation. That's all the fight plan is. It's just talking to one another and saying, "This is what I want to do. Oh, this is what I want to do," or "I can help you with that, sure," or whatever. But it's literally just saying what you're trying to do. So if you see that they're coming up here, it's like, okay, I want to burrow this corner and like push this early, or it's like I want to soft engage early and then get out, or something like that. So you got your bubble.
No, I got you. I got you.
But yeah, I mean, that's obviously not all your fault because 4 people went back to point. But that's because I think there were 2 different. There were either one fight plan where it was just like play it slow, and then you went in, or your fight plan where you wanted to go early and nobody.
You'd have to watch. I'm a little lost.
Okay. So
I see.
This is fine. However, if you come up like this, they're both gonna look at you. So what could you ask for?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I'm on the Kiri Queen. I need or Kiri Lucy. Wow, Kiri Queen. I need care, or something like that. Where you obviously only have 2 seconds. Other option is you just come around this wall and you like pop out, so that you're not just in the open here and get like melted. But you could even ask for a bubble. Like you have plenty of time to ask for it, because I do remember I can't tell if you die here. Oh yeah, you die. You die.
I used my ult to see if I could get more health.
Which
it did let me live long enough to kill a Kiri. So
there you go. So yeah, same thing here. You can literally just sit here and poking for free from this slight angle. But what's missing?
Burrow.
Yeah, you're not really. Your timing is off. Where like as soon as they rush, I'd be burrowing, and like I know because I know I didn't call Grav, but I just there's a rush coming, so it's gonna stop it. I might have, but probably last minute.
I think he did for Genji or Rush.
Probably. But either way here, then like as soon as they're like pushing this choke, you should be ready with your burrow, because that's just part of the fight plan. But no one's gonna tell you that. So that works out.
Is it just me? This is completely off topic. Is it just me, or was getting up on top of that box just way too long?
Like it went very slow. All right, same thing. You're just kind of caught out because they rush really quickly. Part of that's because there was basically no scouting. So we know they're coming up top.
Yeah.
And then we know we don't have ults. So as soon as this
that's
happens,
when I should burrow.
You should immediately be burrowing. As soon as you see that shout, or as soon as you see them.
As soon as anything, that's like their engaged tool comes out, I should be burrowing.
Or at least yeah, for the most part, you can. Yeah. And just in general, like when you see a lot of a pressure coming, then your burrow is really nice because it's basically your get out of jail free card, and then you can still like come out on the burrow like here where they're pushing, and then like
Yeah.
ask for a bubble or whatever, and then we're stabilizing and you're just trying to live behind the corners or something like that. But um, yeah, you don't want to get caught out here. But like here's rough because you're just like popping out right in front of everybody, and then you like stay committed. So it's just like you're just overcommitting to fight that like we're still dealing with other stuff and we're down bubbles and all that. So yeah, you're just kind of like overcommitting your space. But I mean, it works out overall. But
I know me living is better there, but in my head, I think at that point I was like, let me get as much damage as I can, and everyone else can finish him off because I know we're up.
mm-hmm. So
But I living ends up just doing more damage. Yeah.
yeah, same thing here. Like it's just fine to poke them here, and then obviously you get hooked. You're just like peeking your angle too much, honestly.
Yeah,
Your
that
team's
happens
also.
sometimes.
It doesn't seem like you really know where your team is a lot on the venture. Like you're taking these angles, which is fine, but you're not really like looking at where your team is staged. Like,
I drilled to.
fine. But then you're like backing up. But the whole like this is where like you're ulting, you should be telling your team to push because you want to get maximum value out of that, especially in this tight choke where you're just gonna hit everybody. So you should be like telling the team to go in, and then like even saying like bubble me, I'm going in, or bubble like something like that. Yeah, that was just too early timing wise. Again, because you don't really know where your team is. Your whole team's forcing out the far as they rotate, and then
I don't know if anyone's
go in early.
up the far, which either way I went in too early, but
Yeah, I mean your whole team's still pushing. Like they're still going. There's just a far there, but then yeah, you're just in using your cooldowns too early. Okay, that's too far. Adventure's in. You force her out. This is a good burrow. You should definitely be using this dash as much as you can, even just to get you in early.
yeah, I do most of the time. I don't know why I didn't there. I think I do most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
I think I do most of the time.
Yeah, this last fight doesn't really count too much. This is a decent angle, but yeah, just kind of slow to the fight, which is whatever. But again, it's just like you got to position, and it's like as soon as you see they're rotating, then you can like cut back on the angle that you had, and then like go back to your team, and then take an angle, and then go to your team, and then just playing it. But this works out because if we didn't have grab, and let's just say that was a normal fight, then they would have just walked right past you, and then you would have been behind them. So just understanding like where like why you should be positioned there, because another option is literally just playing here, and then as they walk, well, your Zarya's over here, so you're on that angle. You burrow in and then just pop out, or you dash in with a bubble and then burrow and then pop, and then maybe get another bubble or something like that. But I think just get more comfortable with when you're like when you have those cooldowns and you have the bubble, you're in, and then as soon as like you're down your over health and your bubbles, then it's like kind of chill, which could be when you burrow again, and then hopefully by then you have another bubble if you need, and like just playing those slight off angles. So then I go to where is it? Yeah, we'll look at the Havana. It got obviously a little weird later on, but
I think it's just mainly like Widow positioning because when I'm on Widow, I'm always positioning for their Widow more than the team.
mm-hmm.
Obviously, this is a close hold, but called out there on the Widow. I'm just gonna point that out.
Yeah. Not really too much here until
It makes a lot of time.
steps.
Oh, because we killed them.
Yeah. Yeah. Not a whole lot you can do here. You just like you
his
hit
shots.
more shots. I mean, at the end of the day, like we're just kind of.
Oh my god, I haven't hit a shot in a while.
Um, there's
Mhm.
not a whole lot you can do. Other option is just like when they're in and they don't have the cooldowns to get onto you, you can play up a bit closer to get those like to burn the Malga, because your Bab's with you and like, you know he's
I
not going to
think I
slam
need
you.
two there, but
Well,
no,
there
I
we're,
got
we're
you.
looking to go in with barrage. So if we barrage, they're going to look at our Malgas in their face.
I didn't even know we
You
had
can play
barrage. I was
in.
like, oh, we had barrage.
Yeah.
Not taking that. Tell the team he's have.
So for example, here it's fine, like what you're doing, because you have space. They're not going to really be able to get on you. You're putting pressure on them. But even here, like you could even take this like angle here and just like, get the shots on them when they're sitting up there,
So
and then you're like able to. You're
in
like
my
nobody's gonna get on you.
mind, right there, I don't want to grapple because I see that their Genji is within a dash and double jump range of getting to me.
Is their Genji gonna kill you if you do that?
That's the scary thing.
No,
I
he won't. But how do you stop that from happening?
tell like my team that.
Yeah, just like say you're playing aggressive or something like that. Where I mean, look, the Genji's half health. You can see that the Genji's half health because you've got your Sig and your Genji poking him out. If he dashes up to you, there's literally no way he's gonna live. Besides, your Sig can angle like range this. Your BAP can heal you. Your Zen can even put like not from here, but give you an orb. Like you have the care you need. It's just saying that you need it. And then like anyway, like either way, you're not gonna need that protection. Because he just won't dash you. And then
I
like,
think
this Widow, if you're up here, then you have the advantage on the Widow versus like over here, she can ideally peek anywhere. You don't really have sights for her, which is like it's still not a bad spot. I'm just trying to give you like that understanding, like
I think
these aggressive angles.
that Widow's the only character I have comp mindset on. You know what I
What do
mean?
you mean? No.
Where for me, comp mindset is not thinking that anyone's gonna help me.
Gotcha. But I mean, at the end of the day, no matter what character you're playing, it all just comes down to your words, just saying that you need help.
Yeah.
Like obviously, with Widow, you're trying to like out aim the other Widow, so it's like whatever. But if you are in a position where you need care, well, you can ask for shields. You can ask for like your Sig. You can like tell your Sig, I need you to like force out this Widow. You can tell your Zen like I'm gonna like I need you to help like with this Genji if he goes on me or whatever. And then like let's say Genji goes on you, you drop right to your Zen. Your Zen's gonna help you. Like you will be fine. The only thing you need to worry about is that Widow getting on you, which is what your Sig is for. So like you have all the pieces in play. You just have to tell your team so that you're like again, it's like the care like pocket me thing. It's not like literally healing pocket, whatever pocket. It's just help me do my job. That's all it is, and like everybody should be doing it. So it's not just you, but you are one of the crucial pieces to do that. So for example, this angle, you're doing nothing. And then they walk in. So part of it is like if you want to hold this aggressive angle, then your Sig needs to stay up here. If your Sig's like I gotta kite back, then that's when you like leave. But even then, like you can still hold up here, like up here and then over, and then maybe go over to this window, and then you're still like near where your Sig has, and you still have that cover. But like anywhere over here is gonna be rough because then you have like the truck here. But if your Sig's gonna likely move this way versus this way, and if you need the Sig to move this way, then you gotta tell him. But yeah, like playing somewhere where you have natural cover and still have like peel is good, but just making sure that you're not rotating too quickly. But I mean, the rotation itself is good, but I would recommend like these high grounds over like back sides over here where you can't.
I'm just
really see
allergic
as
to
much.
high grounds.
It seems like it. It's kind of unfortunate. So now it's just stage 4 next. Okay, so you have sights. Their team backs. Now you can play aggressively. What do you need to be able to play aggressively?
Why?
What do you need to be able to play aggressively?
Space.
Mm-hmm. How do you get space?
Communicating.
Yeah. So this is a perfectly fine angle.
Bruh.
Okay, Moira pushes you. Yeah, and here, like, as soon as the Moira pushes you, like, you've already gotten their attention over to here, so you might as well just take a new angle. Because now,
My
like, their whole
thinking is
team
that
knows
I
you're
can
here.
either kill her or force fade.
Sure, but I mean, nobody's really gonna be able to engage on that. Like, if they
Not
were
yet.
smart, like, I mean, Moira shouldn't be pushing you by herself. So if she
Yeah.
does, then sure, go for the kill.
I
But as
I'm
soon as
saying
like that fails, like, just take a new angle so you can still do something. Because right now you're just like 1v1ing a Moira.
well, I say that the Moira's over here. I think a couple people come over here.
Sure, then leave. You call your team to go over there. You take a new angle. Their whole team is gonna push this side. So as soon as you take a new angle, you're gonna catch somebody out. But if you sit here, you're basically frontlining right now because their team's gonna come over here. And then once their team shows up here, then you grapple up here when it's only their Widow over here. Versus just you go for the shot, like a shot or two on the Moira. It's like, okay, I'm missing my shots. Like Moira over here, and then you come up to this high ground, and then you know you've got all the protection you need, and then you're able to like cut their like you're just cutting their rotation here, and then the Widow like shows up. But you kind of just want to play it so you bait, and then just like the cast, you bait, and then instead of overstaying your welcome, you take your new angle, and then you get more value. Like going for the kill here isn't inherently bad, but kind of just like 1v1ing a Widow right now.
Oh, and I remember you asking how I got over here. In the VOD.
I don't even remember. But see how that Widow, when she grappled up, she wasn't looking at you. She was looking over here. So if you were just already staged right here, she grapples up and then you just dink her. And then you like go back to over on the left side. So yeah, there's just like rotating faster. Like again, I don't mind you going for the Moira kill because like she shouldn't be there. But yeah, so Genji's there. They have sights. So now you're just what should you be saying?
I'm playing safe, not peeking Widow.
Well, what should you be asking your team to do?
Hold the Widow.
Or just ping Widow. Just ping Widow, ping Widow, ping Widow. Because like,
I ask that all the time. Don't get.
I know, but I'm saying, I'm just making sure. So this is where things got weird, so it's gonna be a little bit awkward. But your rotations here should, well, I think you get the Widow out of spawn or whatever, the cast out of spawn. Okay. But either way, here your rotations are fine. There's not a whole lot to do because they're just sitting in a room. But I think it's when they start walking.
This is my job. I don't know why I'm doing this. Maybe because he's still in the room.
Okay, so now that they're playing somewhat main, we'll get a little bit more normal. Okay, same thing here. Like, as soon as you see 3 people up here, you should just be gone. You should not be doing this. You just need to be gone on the other side of the map rotating. Yeah, so then now you're just back to sniping. But I see, like, you're just staying a little bit longer than you need to be, which is eventually gonna be what gets you killed, whether it's in comp.
I think that's the story of my life.
Yeah. Like, you're getting good kills, and then you rotate. And then it's like, you get kills, you rotate, you put pressure, you rotate. They blade. It's unfortunate. And just rotating here. Yeah, if you die here, that's your fault.
I would
You
never
get
die.
lucky. But again, just
Lucky?
play. Yeah, you're lucky. So you just
No,
play
no.
on the high ground here and just take the space. There you go. Again, overstaying, you're welcome.
That's again. Yeah,
You
no,
see
that's
two
just the
people,
story of
and
my
then they
life.
start looking at you. You kite back here and you shoot the hawk. And then
But
if they
what if
jump
I
pushes you, you
dink
push
both
the
of them
turn.
though?
Well, but if you miss the first shot and they start looking at you, well, you probably should leave. Just like if you miss a shot on on like, I don't know, a Genji, and then you see him like start to push you, well, you're not gonna want to just sit there and like try to get a second shot on him as he's dead. Like, okay,
You
let me
obviously don't
rephrase
know
this.
me.
Let me rephrase this. If you're by yourself and you see a Genji pushing you, I'm not using the best example, but
No, you're really not.
you don't want to overstay your welcome in these spots right here where your whole team is not able to help you. If you have like care and support from your team, sure, you can like overstay it a little bit, but it's in like spots like this. You're just kind of you're egoing a bit, I guess to say the least, and that's gonna get kind of sketchy. But that's what gets you killed. We'll skip to here. We're gonna look at timing here because that's like what most of this is. The timing here is just as you're turreting, you should be telling your whole team to push. Like, I don't have turret, let's kite back, or I don't have turret, let's do whatever. But right now you're turreting, your whole team is still in spawn. So you're just like getting no value, and then as soon as your turret comes back online, your team's probably gonna push here now after your turret's already done. So it doesn't matter which character you're playing, but your timing should be like synced up with your team as they push. We'll see it happen again. So you're over on the left. Just you like walked out of spawn first. You get pinned. And then a window. Definitely don't peek that.
Yeah.
Like, and again, it's not all on you because I'm skipping through this because it was just like, all together the team's timing is off. But same thing right here, timing. You turret and you walk the corner, we get walled. You need to walk the corner as your team walks, and then like as soon as you see this wall, you just need to like stop peeking. So your Sig walks, you see the bastion, but like again, your positioning is kind of just like here. You're just like out in the open. Like you don't have to be out here just shooting for free. You can just like sit here and shoot, and then you like push up on this corner, and then you'll see the bastion. You're like, oh shit, there's the bastion, and then like ideally you're gonna do dashes it or something and deflex or whatever. But like positioning wise, it's just literally like, oh shit, bastion up top, any care, and then your bat like turns to heal you, but your bat doesn't even like heal you because they don't even really know what's happening. Just timing it. I think you swap, yeah. Same thing, just angles. Like we're already up. Like again, here, you can tell your team like I'm playing. Like I'm not saying this is like the best thing to do, but if you want to play over here and like you basically play the bait, where it's like I'm gonna play over here to start. Like we can like because we have window, we have trance. Like we couldn't window early here. So if you want to play up, then you can. You just need to tell your Sig to like basically stop them from getting to you, because holding this angle doesn't really help you too much. Because like we're trying to push the cart past this choke, so ideally you're somewhere where you're able to put pressure on an off angle with where we're pushing, not necessarily like all the way in our back line, unless you want to like have the team like bait. Like so again, these are your sight lines. We need to play in your sight lines, so our Sig can't push past here, or even like honestly here, because you can't really see too much here, but you can see a tiny bit like a Kefri angle. So like this is like your sight lines. So you basically need to tell your team like I'm playing behind cart, like, and then like, that's up to your Sig to actually play it properly. But we basically need to just bait them back if you're playing here. If you're playing super aggressively or even like down here or something, then yeah, your Sig can play at like this spot and then like kind of poke them, and then again it's just poke, and then we keep kiting back, and then now they're in your LOS. So it doesn't matter where you stand necessarily. It's more so just making sure the team is like playing around that. So this is fine, and you go over to the side. Go to the top. This is fine. Lari's on you. Yeah, look at that. You got a Zen to protect you. So what you did is fine. I would even say just do it faster, because like you took this angle and you're like, nah, I don't want this angle. Took this angle, we're like, nah, I don't want this angle, and then you walked over here, versus just being staged here. That way, if they do push you, you just grapple up to this high ground, or you grapple over to your Zen, wherever your Zen is, and then you're like constantly telling your team you're rotating, and whatever you need to do to let them know. But you just need to be staged during these. And I know you've done that before on, I think, the Cass even, where you'll like rotate during a team fight instead of just being staged where you want to be and then like pushing in or pulling out as you need to. But and same thing here, just start staging. So yeah, like their whole team just pushed out and you're just sitting up on the top left. I'm only going back over it consistently because I'm trying to make sure it's ingrained in you. Like, don't do this. Just hold an angle, and then as soon as they like push out, you're already at that angle. And then, you know, because then you could have just been sitting here the whole time. I was like, who's spam pinging? I'm pretty sure it's me. Okay, same thing here. Take an angle, set up, hold the lane. This is fine too, because you are actually the reason why they haven't pushed out. So this is fine. And then see the monkey, see the Lucio, get the kill on the Soj. Perfect. This is where it's like not on you, because people that were on the cart didn't really need to be there. Well, Donna shouldn't have been on the cart there. So this kind of just falls apart. But you held the angle well there and then kind of played around it. Guess. Oh, maybe not. Okay, positioning and timing wise here. Oh, all right.
Oh my god.
Hello. So what is your job in this comp? Like right now, just with what we've
right
got.
now, I think it's pressure cart. No.
Sure. So if you push cart, let's just slow this down real quick. When do you need to push cart?
While we're setting up.
Why is that?
No. To take poke off of you guys.
So if you push cart right now, and you're here, what's gonna happen? If we're still like walking this way and you go to cart,
I guess I'll get
happen?
forced out maybe.
Yeah, you get forced out, and then now they're gonna like push in or whatever they do. So when do you need to actually actively go to the cart?
During dive then? I don't.
Think of it this way: you're diving cart, we're diving them.
Okay.
If that helps. So you're still quote unquote diving, but you're pushing cart as that happens. That way you're still able to get value, and like you're obviously like poking out things that you can, but you know you're staging to be able to push cart as we dive. And then let's say their BAP jumps off high ground or whatever, then now you can go on him or whatever. But you know even during the dive we're still getting value, and then you're just pushing cart. Like that's the best way to think of it. Just dive cart. If we have somebody else going to push cart, let's say it's like on a brig or I don't know, like our BAP's on cart, then you want to stage on one of these angles that you're able to dive their backline as well. Like maybe you come over to stairs and then you're poking out here as the monkey jumps in main. But your job is push cart. It's just more your timing. So you have to understand I'm going to push cart, but understand when to push the cart. So that's like all this is here is just timing. So you push in. And then just to look at where your team is as this happens. So they've already gone in and our team's like counter diving them. So this is where like you can basically help your team deal with the counter dive first and then go cart. Because right now then we're kind of busy. So we kind of need that space first. And then once we have that space and we're able to dive again, then we can kind of go for more value. Then here TP's to you. I think it was a panic TP. Yeah, so their timing, just understanding like they're taking their turn first, so we kind of have to force that out, and then we can go. And again, here just stage, like you're just like randomly poking a Soj from super far away. So as soon as you force the monkey out, then yeah, this is where you can just go towards cart.
Yeah, forced out primal there. Oh my gosh, and Noel's just shreds.
Yeah. So yeah, overall, like, you're kind of like pushing angles that you don't control here, and you're just like pushing top left, and you're pushing. Let me go to where it is. So after this, I guess.
No, I take this angle. This angle's mine now.
So, but you know you need to force cart. So where should you be staging right now?
Maybe right side.
Yeah, just stage right side. You can even like do a little bit of poke here, grab the mega, and you're still staged. But like even maybe poking down here and you're just poking the Soch from here, because poking Soch from under here, that's a lot more value than poking her from all the way across the map. So even if you're doing that and you're just poking, it doesn't matter if they know you're here, but just start from here. And then when your Monkey and Genji dive, well, now you can see them actually diving, and then you just take the cart. If they push up here, well, now you can like poke from this angle, and you can just sit there and shoot them here. But you're staged for whatever happens, and you're staged to dive as well if you want to and go for a pulse. But your staging is really key. Like, you should never be staging from across the map. You should always be staging for like what the goal is. If cart's over here, then yeah, maybe you're staging here and you're literally just pushing cart. Well, I guess here you're staging here, pushing cart, because your team has that space. But as soon as cart's in like no man's land or behind their like where they're holding, then yeah, you have to like stage for it first. So then yeah, here you're just gonna get like poked out. You're just asking to get poked out and not be able to get value. Because even here, technically, like very technically, you can sit here and poke this Genji and potentially push cart if you're already starting here, but you can't do that from over there. So just like when you start these engagements, just like keep that in the back of your mind. Like if you are playing that tracer on an escort map or just hybrid map, like does pushing cart get you value, and then like if so, when versus like taking an angle to get onto the back line. And if you can do both, we'll do that. So this is basically just clean up. Okay.
I kind of wanted to pulse here, I'm not gonna lie.
Micro stuff though.
Okay.
You're holding here, you know there's a Soj there. Soj is right there.
Force that slide. I did not need to blink.
Exactly. So now you're in with, you've used a blink. Get the kill, which is fine. So you're able to get the kill anyway. But like, it's literally something as small as that where... Too close. Like, yeah, sure, your monkey's here. You were probably, I'm assuming you were probably going to do this even if I wasn't there. So if you do that, then you're going to get either a rail to the face or get like 3 tapped by a BAP, or just like you're going to get forced to recall. So
nah, I'm better.
Like, just you have to like smart angles, just poke the Soj and then like, go for a blink on the BAP and then like recall or something, and then or just pulse the Soj right there. But yeah, like blinking randomly like this around a corner where you don't have intel on this, you don't know what's here. Technically, like, you don't really know what's there. Like you could probably figure there's a BAP there. You don't know where he is until after you've blinked, and now you're just like in, and it's just like, oh shit, what's happening? And you have to like spend a half a second to reorient yourself, but that half second could get you headshot. So never blink around a corner without knowing what's there. All right, and then the last one we'll go over real quick because I've kind of gone.
I need to go soon.
Yeah, you're good. I'll do like 5 minutes or something.
Okay, cool.
That's not it. This is it. Nope. This is it. Just the positioning, same thing, same concept. But basically just understanding your, like, how aggressive you can be with your positioning. Like, obviously, like, I've talked about most of this in the VOD, but yeah, this is fine. Like, you're aggressive because you know that they're not going to go on you. And then you obviously want to get value out of the Malga's E. And then yeah, your spacing is fine, your positioning is fine. And then yeah, like the main thing here is just aggressive angles. Because it's the same thing as New Queen Street, where you're like back here, you have this sliver of a hole to shoot through, and then maybe over here. So you're not actually getting any value versus even being over here and just poking. And then ideally, like I said before, like being over on that side and just putting like damage into them as they walk, and you're like rotating out as they rotate in. That way, like you're just getting maximum value. And then if they do try to go on you like aggressively, then you just roll away from the Malga Slam, and then your team's already on top of them counter diving. But yeah, and then you know the chaser's there, and just like marking her. Good kill. But yeah, so I mean, it's all fine. It's literally.
And then you
just
said the
positioning.
poking. Yeah.
You just want to be in their face, aggressive, constantly. And then that's
Instead
where
of whatever the hell I'm doing.
this is a case where you'd have your Lucio with you though, right? Because if you have the Lucio with you, you know that you're their target. So if you have the Lucio, then they can't get on you, because if they try to like slam in, you just speed boost, and then even if the Malga catches you with like his charge, you just roll as before he slams, and then like, you're fine. You're just right clicking him, and then your Malga is slamming their Malga, and then it's just like it's free. So that's kind of like what you that's the bait. Just I'm gonna play over here. Lucio, come with me. Lucio, come with me. I'm playing here, and then because like Lucio doesn't need to speed your Malga in, because your Malga is not going anywhere. So now you can use it aggressively, and you're basically using you're using your teammates. You're using their utility, which is good, because otherwise it's gonna get wasted anyway. So just play with what you've got, and then if you want your Kyrie instead, use your Kyrie. But your Kyrie probably wants to heal the Pharah on her angle. So just kind of understanding, like, that's what I'm referring to when I'm talking about like the pocket me. I'm not talking about like heal me, I'm doing something stupid. It's like I'm doing this, like, stay with, like, I need your utility is like the best way to think of it. But pocketing is like the typical thing you think of as a Mercy beam, because that's her utility. That's all Mercy has, is a heal and a damage orb or damage beam. That's her utility. But Kiri's utility is the cleanse. Lucio's utility is his speed. So like think about how you can use those things differently for yourself, and think about if your team needs it. Like if they're just coming main, well, maybe you don't need your Lucio here because your team might need the speed out. So it's like, oh yeah, if they go main, like Kiri, come with me, or I'm playing over here, I need care. I might need care. So that's pretty much it. Just like think about like your positioning and like how your angle, like the best way to think of it is just try to fight plan with your team a lot more, so that you basically have a voice. So you're not like just going with whatever the team does and like following your tank. Like if you want to play an off angle, play the off angle, tell your team. That way your team isn't like running over here while you're sitting like over here just like poking things that aren't really important to like the actual engagement. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Any questions?
I don't believe so.
Cool. So yeah, I'll try to write a list of things for like specific improvements, but like if you need to like watch this video back at certain spots, then feel free to. But yeah, for the very gist of it, then just try to be more aggressive with your positioning early on, or even once you have the space, like play the space that you have, and then if you need care, make sure you're calling for care, because there's plenty of times where you can hold a space down or hold a lane, whereas like sometimes you just leave it. And then just understand like your timings, where it's make sure you're pushing to do whatever it is you need to do, whether it's push cart, push backline, whatever. Make sure you're timing that with when your team is like pushing in, or make sure you're pulling when your team's pulling. That way you don't get caught out of position. I mean, overall, it's not bad. Like the mechanics are good. The like general positioning is fine. But if you want to get more impact and more value, then it's just like understand, like not limit test fully, but it's just like you can have more impact by just being more aggressive, and then having that utility to help you out when you need it, whether it's Venture or Cass or whoever. All right. Sounds good.